Change only happens when we change something. So why is change so difficult?
Hello, my name is Paul Harvey and I am a midlife coach, and you are listening to a life, passion and business shortcast. Now, over the last few years I have spoken to hundreds of people and I've discovered that our story is everything, because what we do, feel or experience is based on the stories that we tell ourselves. This shortcast is a bite-sized episode to explore the ingredients of a good life. We bring out the thoughts, tips and tools so you can try them on for size. So let's explore and see what is possible.
Is there anything that you want to change in your life? So what's stopping you? What is it that's stopping you doing the things that you want to do or always talk about? I heard a quote the other day from someone who said that they have an agreement with a friend that if they say something 3 times to that friend, they have to do it. And it's probably a good kind of like agreement with each other to actually get stuff done. But the reality is change actually in life is very difficult. There is a utter resistance to changing the status quo, to changing things that we do. And there's no judgment in that. It's just that life is hard to change. I'm sitting on the eve of 62, my last day of 61, and I am considering the things that I said I would change or do in this past year, and the things that I haven't done, the things I have done, things I have done. And there are loads of areas of things there where I have continued, and things have stopped me. Some of my physical problems have caused me to kind of like tone back some of my running plans and things. But on balance, I think I've done everything I pretty much set out to do this year or in this last 12-month cycle. But there are still gaps. And it's always come down to why are those things so difficult to do? What is it about them that means you don't change? And the key to change of anything, is taking action. You see, it's so easy to plan. We can plan easily. And this is why, it's easy to arrange the desk to start a new business and buy new stationery. Because it's part of the planning process and it's an action related to the planning process. And it feels so good and so empowering. But the reality is when we start to look at taking action on the plan, it always becomes difficult. So where are those difficulties and why is it that we struggle with those things? I mean, how do I as a coach work with people in those things? Well, for me as a coach, and it's even the same when I coach myself, it's about desire. How strong is the desire to have the thing that I'm looking for, to make the change that I'm looking for? Now that's interesting. So if the desire is there, but it's not strong, what's missing? What is missing from that desire to make it happen? Well, there are 4 possibilities that can happen, 4 areas or qualities of action that make action happen. So one of them is emotion. There has to be an emotional commitment to this idea of change, an emotional reason to change, something which is driving us, a feeling. There might be a need. A need can be something that is very powerful to drive us towards something. And emotions and needs can be mixed together quite nicely. It sadly can also be a fear. Fear is one of those things that can motivate us into action. And the most beautiful thing that can get action out of all of these things is inspiration. When we are inspired by something, absolutely inspired by something, then often there is nothing stopping us to go ahead and do something. And I notice in myself the times that I have a desire, but for some reason I cannot engage the resources I need to turn that desire into an action, no matter how emotional I get over it, or how any of these things. So what's the other quality that's required? Well, one of the other things that we can do to make action happen is like the friend with the say it 3 times to a friend and I commit it. That's the point, is when we deliver that thing, when we tell other people that we're going to do something, there is this quality of somehow saving face over it. Somehow the telling of the story to someone else makes it all the more important to commit to the action and take the action. One of the greatest aspects of coaching is the accountability aspect of that. So there we are. I mean, it's it in a nutshell. It's as simple as that. Define why you want to do something, get some emotion behind it, find the need or the reason to do it, get inspired by all of these things, tell someone about it, and then go and do it. It sounds so bloody simple, but in reality, it's never that easy. It's never that simple. Or maybe it is. Again, it depends what's at stake. And that's one of the biggest resistance to change. When life is comfortable, when needs are being met, and all things considered, everything's working out, why change? And that's particularly strong around things around food, eating issues, drinking and drugs. Those two things are, well, there's other aspects come into that, but they are very hard to change. And when things are working properly for you and they don't affect you that much. Now, the long-term effects of those things is huge. And that's where we are again. It's about somehow bringing that long-term consequence into the present to provide inspiration and emotion and excitement to move forward somehow. One of the aspects over the last year that I have had with my health is, I think, niggling. My knees a bit of a big issue. Not terribly, but when I run, I get niggles in my knees, and it's just uncomfortable. And the biggest fear I have is pushing it beyond will cause some sort of injury. So it's a fear. I'm balancing a fear of future injury and future immobility. And so I am taking action in terms of how I protect my knees for the future. I'm doing a lot more strength training, a lot of things that will keep my body healthy so I can continue running up hills and doing things I enjoy doing in that respect. But I am taking action of it because of the fear of, if I don't take action on it, something will happen. And what I've done, I've brought the fear forward from the future. I brought the implications forward into the present to make it say, okay, let's do this. And this is one of the things that we can do in coaching, is when someone has a desire to do something, but they don't have the impetus to do it. And you can test impetus, because impetus is like, well, how committed are you to doing that action? And if it's less than 8, it's never going to happen. If it's between 1 and 10, if it's less than 8, it's never going to happen. So how committed are you to the desire to do that action? The question then comes, the question which is really vital on this one, is what would happen if in 5 years' time you haven't changed this? How will you feel in 5 years' time? Will you feel happy about it, or will you feel disappointed about it? Now, of course, if the thing that you're looking to do is that big, in 5 years' time it's not been done, of course you're going to be disappointed about it. And, it may slide by. It may no longer become that important to you. But the point about it is, lost opportunity is always lost. And that's the truth of it. We ain't getting any younger in this world, and it's always moving. The things are always moving around us. So there's the question for you today. Where is it? Where are the things that you want to get done in your life? Or, simple stuff. Clear the garage. That's a simple thing to try and do. Clear the spare room. Make space for something. And that can be one of the simplest things to do. Make space for something. If you haven't got space, you can't change anything. Now that can be space in your life, it can be space in your time, space in your calendar, it's physical space in your house. So all of those things, all the things you actually want to achieve may be restricted by not having the space to do them. So the first action you can always take that would move you forward somewhere would be clear a space. Clear the space that allows you time, space, said he, looking for another word, to move into that. Something that can be filled with the actions that will take you forward. This is fascinating work, and it never changes. It's always, it's always the same issue. Everyone has this issue with getting stuff done, unless they're a particular type of personality. But most people, unless they're really used to doing this. I mean, I'm away this weekend with a running club, and some people here are totally focused on doing stuff. They always achieve what they set out to do. Because that's been a lifetime of action. It's been a lifetime of doing that. I have to say, military backgrounds do help, because when you've got a military background, you're always used to that idea of getting stuff done in that way. But if you haven't had that discipline in the past and learned that discipline, it can be incredibly difficult. And that is why accountability does tend to work. Anyway, I could ramble on about this, and I'm not going to. I'm just going to say that, essence of all this. If you want to change something, you have to make some change. Change takes action. If you want to find action, you want to take some action, you can take some small actions. But if you really want to take the big actions, it's going to take a strong desire. And the strong desire has to have some emotion attached to it. There has to be a need, possibly a fear, and definitely inspiration. So get inspired and make some changes. Now, if that inspiration means seeking some help in that, I'm very happy to help you out. Do check out the website at lifepassionandbusiness.com, where you will find all the details about focus coaching, which is one of the tools that I use a lot with people to get stuff done. If you found this podcast useful, please share it with a friend, because that's how people like yourself find good podcasts. If you like it that much and you would fancy giving us some stars or sharing it with someone, please do, because that also makes the algorithm happy, which in turn makes me happy. Outside of that, thank you so much for listening, because without you, it would absolutely be pointless to do this. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for your time and attention. I will catch you next time. All the best.